One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. He that has eyes to see and ears to hear may convince himself that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. Betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. A woman should soften but not weaken a man. In the depths of my heart I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. The madman is a dreamer awake. No, our science is no illusion. But an illusion it would be to suppose that what science cannot give us we can get elsewhere. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is, what does a woman want? The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. If you can't do it, give up. One is very crazy when in love. The first requisite of civilization is that of justice. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. Religion is an illusion and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. What a distressing contrast there is between the radiant intelligence of the child and the feeble mentality of the average adult. The liberty of the individual is no gift of civilization. It was greatest before there was any civilization. Opposition is not necessarily enmity, it is merely misused and made an occasion for enmity. Just as a cautious businessman avoids investing all his capital in one concern, so wisdom would probably admonish us also not to anticipate all our happiness from one quarter alone. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement. When making a decision of minor importance, I have always found it advantageous to consider all the pros and cons. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. Words are capable of arousing the strongest emotions and prompting all men's actions. The dream is a sort of substitution for those emotional and intellectual trains of thought. The ideas so far produced are insufficient for the interpretation of the dream.